Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with Dan Hansen, who's the head of America's Development and global head of Hyatt Studios. Now, we wanted to get a little sense from Dan about where Hyatt's growing today, and especially they just opened up a new Hyatt Studio, which is a sort of pretty new brand for them, and we're going to talk to him about that and a lot of other development news in Hyatt across the Americas, and you're going to find out about that and on Insider Travel Report. Dan, good morning. How are you?
Terrific. Good morning.
Yeah, so let's first of all, let's talk about what's your role at Hyatt? What do you oversee?
Well, I oversee Hyatt Studios globally, which was really kind of a passion project for me. I started and launched it as a retired executive, and upon completion, kind of fell in love with the business and the development side of it all over again, and decided to stick around for a while. And since new construction is a big part of development, it kind of evolved into the role as head of America's development, but no place I'd rather be.
That's fantastic. Uh, now, what kind of hotel development is Hyatt focused on in the Americas today? What are the brands you're working to grow? Obviously, Hyatt Studios is one.
Yeah, look, the short answer is all brands. But I think all brands in all markets is too broad. I think we want to make sure that we are intentional and find brands that have the most relevance in locations. We do have probably the most white space in the industry versus our major competitors, and where they have an average of 14 hotels in most markets, we have four.
Right.
So, as you mentioned, Hyatt's Studios is one of those brands that really fits a unique need in markets that we've have very little and sometimes no exposure.
Fantastic. Now, you also divide Hyatt into what you call classic and essential brands. Can you tell us the difference between the two?
Yeah, if you think about our classics brands, those are more of our legacy and many times legendary full service hotels that deliver this, timeless style and unrivaled colleague care and guest care in some of these, most traveled destinations across the globe. It represents, Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency,
Right.
Hyatt Centric, and our soft branded Destination by Hyatt, as well as the Hyatt Vacation Club, which over 20 residential style properties that you can have a more home like experience. I think the Essentials portfolio brings together all of our celebrated select service brands under one umbrella, which delivers what we believe guests need, but not things that they don't need, where they can tailor their choices around their expectations and requirements. So we design them to be simple. We build them and evolve them based on direct line and feedback from developers and guests
Right.
to make sure that they fit well in all the markets. And those are obviously Hyatt Studios, our new launch Hyatt Select, Classic Heart, or our Hyatt Place and Hyatt House brands that we've had for sometimes, and our recently relaunched Caption brand,
Yeah.
which is really exciting for us.
Yeah, well, actually, I just stayed, and I didn't realize it was a Hyatt. I stayed at the Rio in Las Vegas, and that's part of your, I guess it's Destination by Hyatt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, but you're really focused on obviously on the one of the essential brands, which is this Hyatt Studios. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about how you're growing your new Hyatt Studios brand. Can you describe the hotels and what they include?
Yeah, they're as the name would imply, they have a little bit more of a longer term stay focus on them.
Right.
So we want them to make sure they have inviting spaces where you can not just work, but relax and live. So they're geared towards those type of guests, like maybe families that are traveling for sports events. We have to talk about traveling nurses, contract employees, people that are there for 1 to 3 to 4 weeks sometimes. So we tried to take a platform that can cater to people looking for a little bit of more of a homey, longer term stay,
Right.
and make it flexible enough so it's not it still has the amenities you need for 1 or 2 nights. And things like, the EV charging is a brand standard, so you will find that at every Hyatt Studios. And we've also integrated a high-speed fiber to the room internet service, so that if you're staying there for a family, you're not fighting over streaming services or gaming
I
applications.
know we would fight right away, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna fight over that streaming. I gotta tell you. And then like if you said they're suitable for families, so I assume there's an extra bed or pull out or things like that.
Yeah, we've got rooms that are connecting. We have in many locations a pull-out couch available. There is a free grab and go breakfast.
Mhm.
There's a 24/7 market that is best in class that has ready to heat meals, and of course a fitness studio, laundry facilities, an outdoor patio with some fire pits and
That's
grills.
pretty
So
cool.
yeah, so look, we think that we've really hit the sweet spot on what guests want and what they need access to for a variety of stays.
Now, where are you targeting Hyatt Studios for development? I know you just opened this Hyatt Studios in Mobile and Tellman's Corner, right? And how many Hyatt Studios do you have now?
Yeah, we have 50 deals signed. 22 of those are in first-time markets where we've never had a Hyatt presence before. So that's really exciting as we, expand our footprint in markets across the country. We think we'll have roughly 40 or so open by the end of 27 across the US and Canada.
Great.
We are continuing to expand, outside of America, and where we think the offering will fit well with local cultures and local regions and locations as well.
Right. Now, you have all of those. How do Hyatt Studios differ from your other essential brands? You mentioned Hyatt Place, Hyatt House, Caption by Hyatt, all of those.
Yeah, I would. It's positioned officially in the upper mid-scale segment, which I always find a little confusing because I can't search for upper mid-scale if I'm a guest. So I'm not sure it actually means
That's a
much.
hotel. That's a hotel term, right?
It's a made-up hotel term that I don't think has a lot of relevance outside of probably our audience. But I think what it should imply is it is a more affordable option
Right.
in markets where it may be more difficult to build. And so I would say that as an upper mid scale, it places below our Hyatt Place, our Hyatt House, and our Hyatt Caption or
Right.
Caption by Hyatt. And it is purposely designed to allow us to expand in markets that would otherwise become too cost prohibitive.
No, absolutely. Now you really don't focus on the classics collection, right? You're not working with Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, Hyatt Centric, et cetera, right?
Yeah, I oversee all the classic
Oh, you
brands
do?
as well.
Okay, so
I
those
do.
we do all the classics. So what are some of the brands of those brands that are you're really focused on developing right now?
Yeah, I think Grand Hyatt and Hyatt Regency, Hyatt Centric, and Destination by Hyatt, those classic brands, all have their spot and their focus. Their new construction for the big full service meeting space hotel is rare. So I think as we see more opportunities, I think they're in our soft brand Destination by Hyatt and Hyatt Centric, which are a little bit more compact than you would see with the Grand Hyatt and Hyatt Regency, but with many of the amenities you'd find in the traditional full service hotels.
Fantastic. Now we go out to about 128,000 travel advisors who are booking Hyatt. What should they know, and who's the right guest for, let's say, a Hyatt studio? You mentioned earlier families, people on who are traveling for business, things like that.
Yeah, I think when the travel advisors of which we are spending a great amount of time trying to connect to show the real value. Think about people that are, traveling for an event that need to stay for multiple days, that need more of the comforts of home. Where some of our larger full service convention hotels just don't have the ability to be thoughtful about, how to cook. Uh, People today, travelers are very much more health conscious than they've ever been. And while the availability of, gluten-free meals and, dairy-free and vegan and all different types of, preferred health habits come to mind. This allows people to be a little bit more comfortable. So, and control a little bit more about their diet. So, as you talk to travel advisors, I think it's more meaningful for them to understand the group and what is required. But also with Hyatt Studios in particular, the flexibility that it would allow you for groups of guests.
So it could be a good place for saying you're having a wedding somewhere and you want to bring in a whole bunch of people for your family and you would put them in a Hyatt studio where the different families can gather, right?
Yeah, I would say that weddings are typically around more of our classic brands, Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency because of the expansive meeting space and accommodations there. But if you have a large wedding or if you have a big meeting and you can't have house all the guests, Hyatt Studios would be a great overflow hotel, for
Right.
larger groups.
No, you're obviously not gonna have the wedding there, but you can put your
Of
guest there and
course.
yeah, I almost stayed at a Hyatt Centric down in Miami a couple of weeks ago, but I ended up not doing it. I got to back down. They invited me, so I got to give that a shot because I don't know if I have stayed in a Hyatt Centric yet. So
Yeah, we look forward to welcoming you there.
now, where can travel advisors, and also how can travel advisors best understand what's the easy thing to differentiate between your classics and your essentials brands, and also figure out the right clients to stay at each of those groups of brands.
Oh, they start really with Hyatt.com, where the brand bar makes it really easy to explore the brands by portfolio, whether it's classics, essentials, or luxury, or even the inclusive collections. Advisors and guests, of course, can always use the World Hyatt app, dive into the unique features, and really be, thoughtful about, trying to find the unique things that they have. We do have a unique program within our World High called the Brand Explorer Award, where they can earn free nights by experiencing different brands across the portfolio. And I think kind of an underutilized program is Hyatt Privé, which is a dedicated program for luxury travel advisors,
Hmm.
where they can get the exclusive benefits at brands in luxury locations.
Yeah, I'd heard of the Hyatt Privé, and I know a little bit about it. The one I'm really familiar with is obviously the Inclusive Collection, because you've grown into probably the largest operator of inclusive resorts in the world, given all the
Yeah.
and boy, we want to get into brands. There are a whole lot of brands in the Hyatt brands for inclusive resorts, right?
Yeah, it's a real sweet spot for Hyatt, and been very dominant in resorts and luxury, and really part of the legacy of Hyatt that, blending, new brands that can expand our presence and distribution, like Hyatt Studios and Hyatt Select, which is our newest upper mid-scale transient brand. We think that distribution, helps grow that's the strength of our World of Hyatts program, which is now 54 million members and growing.
Wow. Now, what's up for you next? What's the next place you're going to be going to work on development?
Well, look, I think since we cover all of the Americas, being very thoughtful as our brands evolve in delivering high quality products, it's a lot of ground to cover.
Right.
We've just hired some new developers on our lifestyle side. Post acquisition of Standard International, we now have over I think 11 total lifestyle opportunities for us to provide kind of this unique and kind of curated and very programmed guest experience. So I think there's a lot of runway on that side as well. So a lot of work to do, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of guests to serve.
Well, Dan, I want you to thank you for getting up this morning and to talk about all Hyatt Studios and all your other brands. You're really in
Of
almost every
course.
segment of the market, and it's good for our advisors to understand how you differentiate and where you're focused on developing even more hotels.
Thank you for the time. Like, look, it's a passion that we have at Hyatt. It's a little bit infectious. We've got, colleagues all over the world, dedicated, not just on building hotels, but serving guests. It's a privilege to be, part of the Hyatt family and certainly looking forward to great things ahead.
Fantastic. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.